This response is to Kashify about existence. Okay, Kashify said, and I think this is getting to be an old video of mine. Mysticism and materialism. I guess it's not that old. I don't know. He said, I zoomed up out of it. The brain too is the mirage. It is believed to exist because it is perceived. That's basically what I want to talk about. An understanding of relativity, that an object appears as it does because of the apparent viewpoint from which we perceive it, helps in understanding space-time causation, objects, and awareness. The primary pathology is the habitual confusion of the awareness that we are with the apparent dynamic passing objects. Okay, first of all, I don't know what you're trying to explain there with the relativism. Yes, things appear the way they are because of the viewpoint. They also appear because of the thing, right? So it's a combination. Where you see it from is your interpretation of it. Doesn't mean you invent the thing. Okay, change your viewpoint to any viewpoint you can get to, and it's a finite set of viewpoints looking at a finite domain. You don't get to interpret anything. There's not a viewpoint where the car turns into a dog and you're like, well, yeah, there could be, it's possible. Well, it is possible. Find one. Find one. You obtain that viewpoint. Tell us how it works, because I don't think so. Now, I just want to talk basically about it is believed to exist because it is perceived. Believed. Let's just pretend we're on a planet where you have to define your terms to use them. Let's just pretend. I know it's a bit utopian, but, let's pretend that. And so we have to define the word exists. And I do that by saying that I exist, just by definition. How can I do that? Well, if you name a phenomena, then you can obtain a tautology. You're just using the word existence for whatever it is that's going on here with me. I don't know what me means exactly. I don't know what is going on. I'm not going to say I'm thinking and I do the existing. Maybe existing is doing me, but we're calling existence whatever it is. And that makes it a tautology because you're naming something. It's like whatever that is, and I'm willing in my interpretation. See, this is different than if I say, well, for the horse to exist means it's an object. But no, because maybe it's a dream. Maybe it's not really an object. It's a bundle of energy, which isn't much like what we call an object. Or maybe. If I say the horse exists, and I mean that there's a phenomena, and whatever that phenomena is, I'm willing to call it a horse. If I say, oh, it's a bunch of BBs, but, well, am I willing to call what it really is a bunch of BBs? If I am, if a BB is just the name for whatever it is, when it turns out to be that the BB is just a swarming whirlpools of energy, then I'm fine with that. Then okay, so we define existence that way. Now, what else exists? Well, anything that interacts with me becomes me through my perceptions of it, and so it exists, right? So the brain exists by virtue, of my perceptions, because my connections, that's the only way I know about my interactions with other things is through my perceptions. And this is all by definition. See, by existence is whatever it is to exist. The brain, therefore, exists in whatever sense it means to exist. And you want to say, but you don't know what existence particularly means. I don't fucking need to know. You're the one that's obsessing like an absolute or an objectivist, that we wonder that question constantly, that we not be satisfied with not being able to answer it. But I'm saying it's crucial to the way the logic works. If I'm making an assertive statement about what something is in principle, fundamental, then I've lost my ability to use certain language, right? Because there's no certainty in natural philosophy. But you can use certain language. Why? Because of these tautologies. I can say, in a certain sounding language, that all bachelors are male, and it's because it's been defined to be true, right? It's been defined to be true. It's been set up to name a phenomena of a certain characteristic. So then I can say that characteristic. Okay, if I go into the world, I can't necessarily do that. There'll be men that change their sex or whatever. Are they bachelor? What point during the surgery did there's these blurry lines. Why? Because when you apply a tautology to nature, you reintroduce uncertainty. But it turns out to be very useful, for example, to be able to talk about existence. Even though everything exists, to have this word so that we can ask, it exists as what? So it's semantics, but it's the important kind, where it affects how you're thinking about this. Okay, yeah, we say the brain exists because of our perceptions of it, because that's all it means. That's the only reason we feel we exist. I only know my existence through my perceptions. The fact that I'm having perceptions is what I define as existence, and whatever it's happening to, that's how I define I. Okay. As a postscript, I will say, it bothers me people that look like they're just trying to get some wonder of the universe, you know. Kashify, you kind of are skirting this for me when you're talking about atoms are just as conscious, but their viewpoint is oneness with the universe. So that, well, I kind of believe that. I kind of believe their consciousness has to be down in the atoms, and we have to explain, well, why don't we see it? And one reason is because even if it could make a willful action, it doesn't have any information. So of course, you know, if you took humans and put them in a room with no sight and sound, no senses, but they're walking around anyway, they're going to walk around in what appears to be a random fashion, right? So that's all good, but you say everything is bullshit and it's all a dream, and then the gurus can just fly, and in that case, there is no, you know, there is no atom. An apparition of a human is an atom. It's one. The dream image element is the atom, and that's, you know, switching your story between those two things. You know, so it's like when people do this and they're just telegraphing that I want you to say the universe is just, I want you to see the universe is just amazing, and it's like magical. Hey, it's magical. It exists. We can't explain it. It's magic. It's real, and there's no sensible, and it's amazing. It's got all those elements. So fine. It's wonderful. It's like people think when we break the beauty of flowers or love down into chemistry, it's like, oh, we broke it down. Now it's just ugly science. No, it's chemistry, and chemistry is obviously beautiful because it makes flowers, and flowers are beautiful. You know, that's what, there's transitive properties involved here. And when you break something down, it's still what it was. So the stuff doesn't go away. It somehow is transformed, transferred. It is, you know, processed in some way. Fine, but you know, it's always there. I don't need someone to explain to me the wonder of the universe. Like my material scientific view is somehow doesn't, you know, isn't wonderful enough. Those of us that love science, follow science news, love the discoveries of science, we drop our jaws all the time. We're addicted to this feeling of wonder. One that's profound, way more profound, I believe, than reading a poem. And a poem is a great thing, and it can be emotionally moving. But if you find out something from natural philosophy that's emotionally moving, you can really put stock in those emotions. Okay? You can read a poem and it can move your emotions in a way that's profound to you, but it could also be bullshit and motivating you to do something that's bullshit. You know, if you get that kind of feeling from from the realization of how some pattern in nature works, you can put a lot more stock in that. I mean, that might be faith on my part, but I'm a natural philosopher. That's what that means to me. You know, that I seek to know these patterns of nature. And it's because, you know, they exist by virtue of I'm perceiving them. And so that's how I know they exist. Now, the fact that they seem to exist for others is somewhat profound as well. But I just, you know, people that are like promoting that, but just, I want you to see that the universe is wonderful, and if you think it's all kind of understandable, you know, even my version, where I don't think we can understand the whole universe, not even all of us together. Certainly not an individual. It's too big, it takes too long to play out. So, but that's not good enough, because I think that the universe is ultimately perceivable. Like if you do pay attention to a part of it, you can understand more and more of that part. That's the principle, and that's too much. That makes the universe too boring. No, it's got to be more amazing. People got to be able to fly when they meditate a lot. I just don't need that to see the universe as wonderful.